Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today, looking at cloud storage solutions with Crowcon Connect. Just give it a few more minutes for people to arrive and then we'll get started. Good morning and good afternoon and possibly good evening. Thank you all for joining. We'll just wait another minute to allow people to join and then we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. Thank you very much for joining. And like I said before, good morning, good afternoon, and possibly good evening to you, wherever you are joining from. My name is Ed Clapham, the Digital and Portables Product Manager here at Crowcon. And today, I'm really pleased to talk to you about cloud storage for your fleet-wide gas detection needs using Crowcon Connect. Today's focus is in the ways in which cloud data storage is transforming the ways gas detection teams record, analyze, and act upon their gathered data. For employers with just a few employees or those with hundreds of workers, using portable gas detectors across multiple locations can make it hard for on-site crews to keep track of daily activities and make it even more tricky for those off-site to record, access, and review data and insights in a timely fashion. So, a bit about me. Obviously, I'm Ed, the Digital and Portables Product Manager here at Crowcon. I'm responsible for everything portables and digital related here at Crowcon. I've been here for 2 years and absolutely spearheading our digital transformation. So we have a vision of a world where lives are protected with a gas safety solution that ensures accurate insights on every individual's gas exposure. Now we know that at the minute, gas detectors are not necessarily assigned to every user. You might have a shared fleet of devices and every user will just pick up the next available device available to them. And the gas detector will only register the alarm levels and data logs for the detector and not for the user. And we believe that is a real problem and we're here to fix that using Crowcon Connect as a solution. So like I said, today's webinar is focused on the cloud storage element, and cloud storage data solutions such as Crowcon Connect can revolutionize these activities by offering anytime, anywhere access to a central cloud data system. These types of systems change not only the availability of and access to data, but also the security of information held and the way in which the data can be acted upon when it really matters. Cloud data storage also impacts the capacity of an organization to ensure compliance and accurately assess risk within their operations. Now, before I get into too much detail, I just want to give you a quick overview of our system and how it works. So it's a convenient, automated, flexible, and secure data transfer method from the device into our cloud platform. And there are two convenient ways in which the data is transferred from the device. You can either have it wired into a PC. A dedicated Crowcon Connect PC app extracts the device event and data logs through the app, and using the computer's internet connection, uploads it into the cloud and into the Crowcon Connect portal for anytime viewing. And the cloud does not have to be open when that data is uploaded, again, which just makes it even easier. So you can upload data and then view later on the data that's been gathered. Now, that's a really good solution if you have access to a PC, but we know that there are some applications, especially remote applications, where that isn't the case. So we've developed also a Bluetooth charger where you can charge your device, but with a Bluetooth element within that charger, so you can connect the device to a mobile phone, and using the mobile phone's connectivity, upload the device's event logs up into the cloud and into the Connect portal. If you go for the wired option, that is completely automated. The software will know that you've docked a device. It will automatically extract the relevant information from the device and into the cloud. Nice and easy, nice and straightforward. The mobile app, once it knows it's connected to the device, again, will automatically take the data and put it into the cloud. And some example information that is taken from the device are alarm events, bump and calibrations, the ongoing user exposure or data logs or gas logs, any calibrations that have been performed, and device usage patterns. And if you're not familiar with our Proton devices, here is a quick overview. As you can see, anything from our Gasman single gas detector all the way up to our GasPro TK premium dual range infrared sensor with volume and percent LEL detection. A range of those detectors can work with Crowcon Connect. So if I walk you through the range, Gasman has a single gas rechargeable or non-rechargeable detector with a large array of sensor options. So it's really configurable to your needs. Next, we've got the T4, our standard multi-gas 4 detector, detecting all flammables, CO, H2S, and oxygen, which is perfect for those generic confined space applications. Next, we've got the T3 or Tetra 3, again, a multi-gas detector, like the T4, but with more sensor options. And this design is famous for having its top-mounted display, which makes it ideal when you're in confined spaces, just to glance down and look at the readings, rather than having to flip up the device. Similarly, the GasPro also has a top-mounted display with 5 gas multi-gas options, optional pump as well, and more sensor options than the T3, which makes it really configurable. Then lastly, like I've highlighted, the GasPro TK, which is our specialist tank check device, can be used to check the percent volume as well as percent LEL flammables in a tank, as well as be used for day-to-day safety offerings. So Crowcon Connect is fast, secure, and automatic data upload, either wired or wireless, at the point of charge to match your existing processes. The cloud data storage allows for timely review of data logs, measurements, and response times, and supports data-backed training implementations. So that effectively is making use of the data to ensure that your training actually is what matches what's actually happening out in the field. So if you know that you've got alarm events for oxygen, for example, do you need to look at why that is? Is there a real danger of oxygen depletion, or people not looking at the devices quick enough before an alarm goes off? Are they entering, relatively dangerous environments even before the device starts going off? Or are they just not using the devices? Are the devices turning off prematurely before the shift ends, for example? All of this can be logged and used to tailor training. And as Fetchy just suggested, you get powerful insights relevant to you and your business, ensuring you get the data you need to drive those improvements. And with Crowcon Connect, being on the cloud, hosted by Crowcon, doesn't have to be the case. We can also integrate our database with yours or your customers through API integrations. So if you're using, or your customers are using, their own safety excellence software and reporting, we can integrate it to that, so you don't have to have multiple places to log in and view data. We can also offer own cloud and on-premise solution, or on-prem as well, so that companies host this themselves on their own servers, so that we don't see the data. It's even more secure, and they have that peace of mind. Now, before I go into detail about the cloud application of Crowcon Connect and a bit more technicalities of it, I'm going to show you a quick overview with some insights into what our portal looks like. So straight up, you can see we've got customizable dashboards straight from effectively the home screen. Each of these graphs can be resized and positioned to suit your needs, because we understand that different people have different needs from this data. Some might be more focused on the safety elements, some might be more focused on the calibration and maintenance of these detectors. So you can resize the graphs that matter most to you on a personal level. We've also split the report pages down into two sections as well. So you've got fleet management and safety and compliance. If we look at the fleet management first, you get a nice little drop down. You can see what devices that need calibration, devices that have been assigned, for example. And each of these pages also has graphs at the top to give you more insight. Now, if I just pause here on this report, for example, on this Fleet Insights at a glance, this is almost a one-stop shop to summarize all the device data within the portal. So you get a list of all your devices within one tab, and the next tab, you have the devices that have been synced. So these are devices that have data assigned to them within the portal, so you know that the devices that have been added actually have data with them or not. And obviously, if you don't have data assigned to them, you know that they need to be uploaded. And that is the next tab, the devices that are not synced. And again, you get serial numbers, the device types, who the operator is, what unit they're under, and the calibration due dates. You also have a list of devices that have been switched on, the devices that haven't been switched on, and the devices with alarm. Because you might have a lot of alarm events, but if they're only coming from a couple of devices, you know that you've got potentially some issues there. Maybe those devices only go to certain areas, or it could also be operator error going to pushing the extremes of their environments. If we look at the safety and compliance areas, pardon, skip ahead. If we look at the safety and compliance reports and look at the alarm events, for example, you get all your serial numbers, you get your what devices they are, what alarm type, the description, and like I've said earlier, all of this is summarized in the graph at the top of each page as well. If we look at near misses, This is exclusive to Crowcon Connect's portal in the sense that you can actually now understand anything above 50% of alarm 1. At what point is that reached? At what point is alarm 1 getting close to being into alarm? So we can see here we've got some gas pros, and they've reached between 80% and 90% of their maximum alarm level 1. So that could be a near miss. Next up, we've got device utilization and how many devices are being used. You've also got access to obviously all the operators you put on here if they've got training, and that could be confined space or portal training or whatever you want it to be. And then lastly, you've got access to a list of all the devices on the portal, each one with a serial number that you can click through. It'll show you what channel each one is, etc. So you know what gases are on each detector and obviously what each detector looks like. Especially useful if you're not familiar with our devices. So that gives you a quick overview into Crowcon Connect. And now I'm going to talk in much more detail about the cloud application of Crowcon Connect. And the hot topic is, of course, safe storage. And so I'm going to talk a bit about safe storage and safe data, and then link it back into the safety data. So with Crowcon Connect, it is versatile and secure. It's almost built on bricks, rather than having a prefabbed house, for example. You always build them in bricks or separate components. So if one part is damaged or needs replacing or upgrading, it's really easy to do that. And our portal is exactly the same. At the same time, it is of course secure. And I'll go to a bit more detail about this in the next few slides. But top level, it is encrypted. It's one-way data, so you can't go from the cloud back to a device. And we've passed and done a lot of due diligence on our security of the platform, and I'll talk about that in the next few slides. We are using Microsoft Azure, and that brings with it some flexibility. So like I've highlighted before, you can take Crowcon Connect as it is, or other options available include the API, so integrating our database with existing reporting databases that companies may have, or you can have your own cloud or on-prem solution, which enable you to effectively host it on your own servers or even just on a local laptop or computer itself, so that you can really take control of all of that data within your own systems or your customer systems. They look after it themselves, and it really is cut off from the rest of the Crowcon Connect system. Next up, we've got those quick improvements. So, like I highlighted with that versatility, with quick improvements being built on effectively with bricks, we can upgrade each brick or each part of the platform really quickly, and implementing agile methodologies to do this. And also, not just being built on bricks as separate components, but these components effectively talk to each other as well, which makes it really powerful. And there's no end to the performance of this, so it's only going to get better. And lastly, the quick access to data, because effectively each brick is doing it's almost its own applications all at the same time as everything else. It makes it a lot quicker. So data loading time is reduced. There's less time waiting for insights. You don't have to wait long pages to load, or for things to download, for example. We've got that dashboard for really clear fleet-wide overviews. So you get all your data in one place, and again, that's only going to improve. We're going to add more flexibility and more capability into that in the future, but straight from the off, as it is today, you get some very clear fleet-wide reporting and overviews straight from the off, And you can draw some very powerful summaries from that without even having to look at the underlying data in those reports. And we know that getting to the data that's important to you is really important. So like I highlighted earlier, we have split these reports into sections based on safety and operations teams or fleet management, so that different teams have very clear access to the reports that matter to them, and they don't have to worry about the reports that don't. But by all means, they still have access to it if they wanted to have a look. So looking at a bit more granular detail at this data integrity. Like I said earlier, the data that's uploaded is encrypted and it's also stored in encrypted databases. It's a one-way data upload. As you can see from the network diagram in the center of this page, the information moves from the device to effectively the enabling hardware and software and up into the cloud. There's no way for the cloud to then get back to a computer or mobile device, or even a gas detector. Now, this means that your gas detectors are always going to remain functional as designed. There's no way of having that communication back to the device from the cloud. And we appreciate that the security climate is always developing. So there's monthly vulnerability scans and patching processes for all the elements of the service. Now, Azure do this themselves, as well as our own checks, and Helmet, our parent company, also do this as well, and always testing what we've developed. So be safe in the knowledge that we haven't just developed this and there's no ongoing testing. It's been tested by effectively 3 different parties every month. There's also annual independent penetration testing, again, by Microsoft and Helmer, where, again, we are being challenged and pushed to ensure that this is completely secure and that we are not putting anyone's data at risk. We've also taken into account Cyber Essentials, which is from the UK's GCHQ, which is effectively the IT equivalent of MI5 and MI6. These are a list of, effectively a checklist of requirements to make the design of a digital solution secure and well engineered. And we've designed this from the ground up, following those Cyber Essentials requirements as set out by GCHQ. And lastly, Helm and Azure protections provide an anti-corruption layer, and that's by default, that's just there. So any data that's stored in the cloud cannot become corrupted or changed, and that's always there. That doesn't change, that doesn't move, that goes forward. So now we know that our data is secure, the data is all in one place. It enables you to monitor across multiple sites and fleets across existing devices. You can quickly review any alarm events and prove compliance when audits are needed, either internally or externally. You're no more having to look at Excel spreadsheets, email chains, or, as we still know that it's very common, paper trails. You can look at your near misses, and I highlighted earlier, only available through Crowcon Connect, using those data logs from the devices, so that you can become even more proactive and improve that safety excellence across the sites. When you look at how close are you to those near alarm 1 events, and how close and how often do those occur. It supports the data-backed training implementation. And I touched upon this earlier. Using the data from Crowcon Connect, you can ensure that training is tailored to events that are actually happening out in the workplace, rather than just hypotheses or through word of mouth what's happening. This data can be used to form really specific training plans. And of course, this is scalable. So you can set it up for one team and then adapt it for any size fleet. Likewise, you can set it up for one company, and that might have different sites around the world in one country or even more. And it can go down to kind of 8 levels of granular detail. So you might end up having it by shift or by department or whatever. However, this data you want to be segregated. And with each almost segregation level, depending on who's assigned where, those levels only see their level. So you might have a global compliance level where they can see kind of their global information. Then, for example, if you bring it all the way down to a shift level, only that shift sees their information. So even within companies, that data is hidden and only displayed for people who need to see the data. And it also means that not only is it more secure that way, but people only see the data that actually matters to them and don't get the noise of everything else as well. So I'd encourage you to look on our website at crowconconnect.com. Read our dedicated white paper on this, on our cloud data storage. Feel free to browse our webinar recordings, which are located on our website. And if you do need any more information, please email us at marketing@crowcon.com. So I'm going to move on to taking some questions. I can see one straight away, which is fantastic. So if I want to connect a few bases with interface for gas man detectors to PC, do I need a special USB hub, or can I just use a simple USB hub? Great question. Yeah, we've designed this to be as scalable as possible. So a standard simple USB hub is absolutely perfect for this. You do not need any kind of special hardware. You can use existing data cables and powered USB cables, just standard USB cables for this to work. Are there any other questions? If not, that's fine. I'm not going to force them out of you. If you do have questions in the future and you go, oh, I should have asked that, please just email marketing@crowcon.com and we will get back to you. So another question. So T3 was in the list of compatible devices. Is that only compatible with Crowcon Connect, or can you still order it new? Yes, you can still order T3 as a new device. It's not obsolete. So yeah, absolutely. Brand new T3s and existing T3s, Gasman, T4s, and Gas Pros will work with this. I think effectively anything from 2004 onwards in the products I've just mentioned are compatible. And also the joy of using existing devices is that information is already there. You've already got those alarm events and those data logs. So on your first day, you've got at least 6 months worth of, or however long you've had the device, event logs and data logs. You don't have to wait months on end for that data to start building up. Well, like I said, I'm happy to wrap it up if there's no other questions. Okay, another fantastic question. Why? What are all the safety features on the cloud storage? So we haven't listed everything here. If you do need more information, I can get back to you, and we do have technical documents available as well. So I can get back to you on more information if that's required, and I will do that separately after this call. But like I said, I haven't deliberately given absolutely everything away, kind of hopefully for obvious reasons. But if you do require technical documentation, happy to support that. Please email marketing@crowcon.com. Okay, I can't see any other questions coming in. Okay, one other question. How much data can be stored in the cloud storage? It's effectively infinite. We can keep bolting on as much as we need. Obviously, the device data itself is relatively small, so it is beyond thousands of devices. That should not be an issue at all. Like I said earlier, this platform effectively is really, really modular. If we need to expand it, we just expand it. It just happens. So the amount of data that's stored in the cloud with Crowcon Connect should not be almost even a consideration or a hindrance. It just happens. I'm happy to wind that up here. Like I said, if you do have any questions in the future, please just reach out to marketing@crowcon.com and we will get back to you. That's it all from me. Thank you very much for joining wherever you are. Have a great day.